Mainland court throws out Bo Xilai's appeal. Locally, new plan for Chung Kwan O landfill. And Germany and France want talks with the U.S. over spying scandal.
Good evening. Ousted former Chongqing party boss Bo Xilai has lost his appeal against his life sentence for bribery, embezzlement, and abuse of power. A court in Shandong upheld last month's conviction, saying the evidence against him left no doubt that his punishment was appropriate. Tony Sabine has our top story.
Wearing a black jacket over a white shirt, faintly smiling as he stood flanked by two tall uniformed guards, former Chongqing party boss Bo Xilai made his last stand today. Sentenced to life in prison last month on a string of corruption charges, Bo had one last roll of the dice by appealing the decision. But today, the Shandong Higher People's Court rejected Bo's appeal and upheld the original sentence of life imprisonment for bribery, embezzlement and abuse of power. It was an inglorious end for the once rising star, whose naked ambition unnerved China's leadership. The court said Bo's offences led to extremely severe social consequences and caused major damage to the interests of the country and the people. Bo is expected to serve his term at Qincheng Prison near Beijing, which houses offenders from the political elite. The conclusion of Bo's case closes the door on a damaging scandal for the party leadership. It included embarrassing revelations that Bo's wife, Gu Kai-lai, murdered British businessman Neil Hayward, and that Bo's former aide, Wang Lijun, made a failed attempt to defect to the United States. Today's court decision could now enable President Xi Jinping to further unify party leaders, who might have been divided over Bo's fate. With the distraction of the Bo trial over, Xi and Premier Li Keqiang will be able to continue their agenda on maintaining growth and carrying out the next phase of economic reforms. Indeed, party leaders will meet in a key plenum next month to draw up a blueprint for economic development. It will also be an occasion for party leaders to reaffirm their commitment to Beijing's anti-corruption efforts, something that's been a hallmark of Xi's leadership so far, and a reminder that the days of Bo's excesses are over. Tony Sabine, TVB News.
The government has proposed turning the Chung Kwan O landfill into a site which would only be for the disposal of construction waste. All odor-producing waste would be sent to other dumps. But as Joao de Silva reports, the measure would be conditional upon the controversial approval of a landfill expansion plan.
Chung Kwan O residents may soon breathe a much-awaited fresh sigh of relief. In an ambitious plan that could change waste collection in the city, all municipal solid waste and other odor-producing rubbish currently being disposed of in Chung Kwan O would be rerouted to 2 other landfills by spring next year. The proposal by the Environmental Protection Department, which will be discussed by LegCo's panel on environmental affairs from next week, also details how it would substantially reduce the impact on traffic and the environment of diverting all this waste to other landfills. But the waste diversion plan can only move forward after funding for the contentious landfill expansion is approved. Also, there's an $18 million plan to fit all rubbish collection vehicles, or RCVs, with equipment that would reduce odour and leachate dripping during transport.
We'd like to see the retrofit of all the RCVs as soon as possible. So we'd like to put the law amendment to the LegCo for endorsement within this year. And we are going to apply funding from the Finance Committee within this year.
Although the idea of modifying these trucks was floated a few months ago at the height of resistance to government plans to expand the city's landfills. Wong Kan-sing insists that this measure is not solely aimed at pleasing those who live in the vicinity of landfills.
This RCV retrofit would enhance the overall environmental performance of RCVs running around the whole territory. So it's not only helping us to reduce the burden to the neighborhood around the landfills, but also enhance the environmental performance or hygiene in the whole Hong Kong.
About half of the 530 rubbish collection trucks currently running in Hong Kong already meet the standards, and the plan would make it mandatory for all such vehicles. Juan da Silva, TVB News.
In other news, there have been calls to extend the retirement age here in Hong Kong as part of efforts to boost manpower. But this could come with a higher price tag. Evelina Lung tells us why.
Civil servants now retire between the ages of 55 and 60, but many of them still want to work after retirement. For example, former Police Commissioner Jiang Yampui became an executive director of a private company after retiring from the force. To tackle challenges involving manpower, the government is looking into whether the retirement age for civil servants should be raised. The results are expected to be announced next year. So, how does the public feel about this proposal? Zhang Kei-jung, chairman of the Academic Staff Association of the University of Hong Kong, said the extension should also apply to scholars and academics. Many researchers are dedicated to their job and they can continue to work after 60. That's the same for teaching staff, he said. But Zhang said the university is concerned that extending the retirement age could affect the career opportunities of younger staff. And according to human resources consultants, there is also another issue to consider. Alexa Chow, managing director of Centerline Human Resources Consultants Limited, says most insurance policies assume people retire at 60. If the retirement age is to be raised, insurance costs can go up. Evelyn Lang, TVB News.
Next, mixed data today about Hong Kong's housing supply. According to figures released by the Transport and Housing Bureau, some 72,000 new flats will be available in the next 3 years to 4 years. That is the highest number since the third quarter of 2006. These include unsold units in completed projects and units that are under construction. But there's been a slowdown in the construction of private residential homes. The number of units for which construction began dropped to 2,900 in the third quarter of 2013. That is a 56% decline year on year. In all, construction began for 10,600 units in the first 9 months of this year.
Overseas, and Germany and France are demanding the United States engage in talks to come to a no-spying agreement among the allies. This after the latest allegations the U.S. National Security Agency may have tapped into German Chancellor Angela Merkel's mobile phone. Alan Booknia reports.
The first day of a two-day summit meeting in Brussels of European Union leaders turned into a bash fest over claims of widespread U.S. spying.
Das Allerwichtigste ist, dass wir eine Basis für die Zukunft.
German Chancellor Angela Merkel said the allegations had shattered trust in the Obama administration.
La France et l'Allemagne.
French President François Hollande also expressed outrage over reports that the NSA had collected millions of French phone records between December 2012 and this January. Other leaders chimed in.
I don't like that the European decision makers are listened and nobody likes it. So it is a larger thing that our citizens must have a certainty that the digital market really means safe market.
Some joked.
Prime Minister think twice before using his phone.
Yes. No, I always use this phone on the basis that somebody may be listening.
After meeting well into the morning hours today, EU leaders had a declaration.
The heads of state or government took note of the intention of France and Germany to seek bilateral talks with the USA with the aim of finding before the end of the year an understanding on mutual relations in that field. They noted that other EU countries are welcome to join.
The White House refused to comment on whether the NSA had snooped on Merkel's mobile, but acknowledged the spying claims have created tensions with allies. And Washington may soon face other irked heads of state. The British newspaper The Guardian said yesterday it had obtained a confidential memo that the NSA monitored 35 world leaders' communications in 2006. Alan Booknia, TVB News.
Welcome back. For more now on the dispute over the granting of free-to-air TV licenses. The Legislative Council House Committee today rejected the use of special LegCo powers to look into why Hong Kong Television Network was denied a license. Vicky Kung has more.
HKTV employees have been camping outside the central government offices to protest against a government decision to deny Ricky Wong's TV venture a free-to-air license.
We have been working so hard for the past 2 years. I think we need a full explanation of why we failed.
And it's not just them who want answers. Members of the public also brought food and drinks to those on hand.
All of us can see from the Facebook, all the medias, the people are supporting HKTV and also supporting the freedom of expression. People are expressing what they want, what we want, but I don't think the government hears us. Maybe we should express it louder.
But at the LegCo House Committee today, lawmakers voted against a motion to invoke special LegCo powers to look into the free TV dispute.
This motion certainly is at odds with the confidentiality system of the ICSCO, and I have to defend the confidentiality system of ICSCO.
Charles Mok, who tabled the motion, said he is disappointed. Still, the full council will take up the issue later.
But in any event, I think we know for sure that this motion will go back to the council on November 6th.
And Chief Executive Leung Chun-ying said again today he cannot comment further because the head of Hong Kong Television Network has made clear he would seek a judicial review.
We see the public is quite angry at the moment. I think they have to do something to release the conflict at the moment.
Staff and supporters of HKTV continued to make their voices heard with a rally this evening. HKTV staff has set up 3 big screens to broadcast live what's going on at the gathering so more people can join. This particular screen is set up outside the LegCo. Vicky Kong, TVB News.
Man is accused of blackmailing the crew of the latest Transformers movie being filmed in Hong Kong made a court appearance today. The 35-year-old defendant, surnamed Jie, appeared at Kowloon City Magistracy. He was arrested earlier for allegedly blackmailing the production crew of the Hollywood film in Hong Kong on Tuesday. No plea was taken, and the suspect was released on $5,000 bail. The hearing's been adjourned until the 15th of next month. Police are looking for 3 other suspects in connection with the case. In a similar case last week, 2 brothers are accused of trying to extort money from the Transformers crew in Quarry Bay. Their next court appearance is set for November 1st. Those 2 suspects have also been freed on bail.
LegCo President Tsang Yak-sing has stressed the need to seek common ground between pro-establishment and pan-democratic lawmakers over political reform. In a speech at Chinese University today, the LegCo president pointed out that patriotism and democracy do not contradict each other. But he believes it's hard for the pro-establishment and pro-democracy camps to agree on political reforms because they're at war with each other. Tsang also said he will not seek re-election as a lawmaker in 2016 or run in the chief executive election in 2017. He hopes to use the remainder of his term as LegCo president to boost communication and achieve a consensus between the rival camps. And Tsang believes universal suffrage is essential for the 2017 CE election. He said without universal suffrage, it'll be impossible to govern Hong Kong.
A group of residents and shopkeepers affected by redevelopment plans held a protest outside the Urban Renewal Authority's offices in an attempt to save their neighborhoods. As Rani Samtani reports, the URA has agreed to meet them to address their concerns.
Residents and shop owners from Kwun Tong, Atin Wai Tun and Wong Tai Sin and Sham Shui Po gathered to voice their discontent. They spoke out against the Urban Renewal Authority's handling of redevelopment plans in their districts. But the protests soon became heated when an Urban Renewal Authority representative came to speak to them.
we're so angry about their action. The URA president say he want to solve the problem peacefully, but he doesn't send any. He doesn't show any responsibility and talk with us. So we asked them to have a schedule to talk with each district neighborhood and talk about the case they are facing.
Last night, dozens of Food and Environmental Hygiene Department officers boarded up shops on Yanshan Lane in Kwun Tong. Residents and shops were forced out last month to make way for a new town center. They say the URA should have relocated them before forcing them out, and they say the compensation they were offered isn't good enough. They're calling for a public consultation and a better relocation plan. Protesters staged a sit-in outside the URA headquarters today and refused to leave. In an attempt to make peace, Lawrence Yao of the URA accepted a letter with their demands. Protesters asked Yao to halt redevelopment until the authority resolves all outstanding problems, but because redevelopment in Kwun Tong is already well underway, Yao explained there was no way to stop it. The Urban Renewal Authority plans to meet with Kwun Tong residents and shopkeepers over the next 3 weeks to try to resolve their issues. Rani Samtani, TVB News.
A pilot trying to battle the raging Australian wildfires died when his plane crashed yesterday. The 43-year-old man was trying to drop water onto a blaze in extremely rugged terrain when his plane went down. Authorities have yet to recover his body due to challenging weather conditions. Australia's Governor-General began visiting fire-ravaged areas in the Blue Mountains, where more than 100 wildfires have destroyed more than 200 homes. Investigators have determined a military exercise with a live ordnance last week ignited the largest of those wildfires. So the Premier of New South Wales will request compensation for those who lost their homes. And that's our show. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Good night.